Welcome my dear listeners. Stay with me to get the news first and subscribe to the channel. Let's find out what's going to happen on royal family. Meghan Markle looks amazing in a khaki vest, maxi skirt and suit jacket in Australia. It's one of her most wearable looks of 2026. You can easily copy the Duchess of Sussex style for spring and change it for different events. People love the Duchess of Sussex style, but her green look in Australia felt cooler and more modern than a lot of the sleek tailoring and floor-sweeping gowns she's worn lately. Some people have compared Meghan and Prince Harry's visit to a royal tour. On day one, she wore a knitted vest, a long skirt, and a collarless suit jacket to the Australian National Veterans Arts Museum. This outfit is easy to copy for less money, which isn't true of all royal outfits. The Duchess clearly wants to support Australian designers while she's in the country, just like Zara Tindall did. Her suit, cocoon jacket and Glam skirt were both made by St. Agni. Suit jackets are a popular type of outerwear for spring. Along with trench coats and blazers, the texture of the material makes an outfit look softer and more interesting. This is very important if you are wearing mostly one color, like Meghan. She usually stays away from bright colors in her everyday clothes, but this look shows that you don't have to wear bright colors to add a splash of color. Khaki is less bright than most of the spring or summer fashion color trends for 2026. And it has a warm tone that goes well with neutrals like tan, cream, and brown. Red also looks great with it. Meghan took off her jacket when she and Prince Harry got inside the museum, which let us see more of her knitted vest. On a cool spring day, a sleeveless knit top can be just right. Hers was topped with a high neckline and ribbed details. This kind of vest is a little more stylish than a basic cami top, but it's just as versatile and can easily be tucked into skirts, pants, and jeans. The sleeveless shape lets you layer cardigans and jackets over them for extra warmth without getting too hot. Longer skirts go well with vests like Meghan's because they cover more skin and make up for the lack of sleeves. Together, they can sometimes look like a stylish midi dress. If you want a sleek, streamlined look, I suggest sticking with column or pencil skirts. A flared or a line design would be perfect for drawing attention to the waist. Meghan also did something smart with this outfit that you should copy. She stuck to a small number of colors, which made it look more understated and classy. The Duchess also wore a khaki shirt that matched Prince Harry's. Many of the royals like to do this. Everything seemed well thought out, and even though we may never know for sure, it's possible that they both chose khaki green as a subtle nod to military uniforms. Given where they were going, they were taken on a tour of the Australian National Veterans Arts Museum, where they saw art made by an army reservist. Then they made models with veterans and their families. This was the first day of the 4-day trip to Australia. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex were last there together in 2018. When they were still working members of the royal family, they will go to both private paid events and charitable events on this trip in 2026. A heartwarming moment, Princess Catherine gets flowers. Princess Catherine has always been able to make royal events feel warm, graceful, and easy. But at this year's Commonwealth Day service at Westminster Abbey, that trait was on full display in a way that made everyone who watched the royal family cry. When Catherine left the Abbey on March 9, 2026, children greeted her with flowers. She accepted a bright bouquet with the same calm, polished smile that has become one of her trademark public gestures. According to Reuters, the family met at Westminster Abbey. Getty images caught Catherine getting the flowers as she left the service with Prince William close by. When you talk about it, it sounds small, but when you see it in a picture, it feels huge. Catherine looked both royal and soft in her deep blue coat and dress, white brimmed matching hat, and layered pearl necklace. The flowers she carried were the finishing touch. They were yellow and purple blooms that brightened up the scene and made the departure feel less like a formal goodbye and more like a royal welcome in the spring. Getty's captions say that the bouquet is made up of yellow daffodils and purple flowers and was given to the abbey by young people who wanted to wish them well. The picture is so striking because it shows the Princess of Wales at her best, calm, focused, and clearly happy about a small act of kindness. She bent down a little to take the bouquet, smiled warmly at the kids, and then walked on with Prince William close by. The conversation wasn't stiff. There was no feeling that the flowers were just a formality. It looked like a real moment of connection. The kind that makes people remember why Catherine's public appearances are so popular. Getty's own photo captions and the royal coverage that goes with them both stress that warmth. The warmth is important because the Commonwealth Day service is one of the most important events on the royal calendar. The ceremony was attended by Queen Camilla, Prince William, Princess Catherine, Princess Anne, and other senior royals, with King Charles leading the family. People also say that this event was one of the biggest royal events of the year. In that setting, the flowers that kids give to Catherine become more than just a pretty picture. It adds to the ceremony's emotional depth by bringing together tradition, duty, and human kindness at the abbey doors. The difference in how things looked was part of what made it so appealing. Catherine came in looking strong and well-dressed, with structured shoulders, a well-fitting hat, and classic royal polish. But as soon as the flowers were put in her hands, the whole scene changed. Catherine does that contrast very well. She can look very formal and still seem friendly. Harper's Bazaar also wrote about the loving chemistry between William and Catherine during the Commonwealth Day service, saying that the couple shared quite private moments during the ceremony. The bouquet fit in perfectly with the mood, showing the public a softer side of the princess. The flowers themselves also have a deeper meaning. Daffodils are very much connected to Wales, and Catherine's dress and the bouquet together gave the moment a subtle nod to her role as Princess of Wales. The colors of spring also had a lightness that fit the season and the tone of the service. The picture felt like it was meant to be uplifting. Even if you didn't read too much into it, she had bright flowers in her hands, children smiling up to her, and the abbey's historic stone framing, a moment that was both formal and personal. Getty's captions and the Commonwealth Day coverage make that mix clear. Royal watchers like these moments because they show a small version of how Catherine acts in public. She doesn't usually take over a room, she keeps it steady. Her presence tends to be more about balance than show. The bouquet wasn't a dramatic accessory on Commonwealth Day, but it became one because she held it so naturally. That's one reason why so many people share and watch her videos. A simple flower exchange turns into a short story about grace, duty, and love in public. Timing is also important for the heart-melting part. People say that just days before the service, Catherine sent flowers and their handwritten note to the Royal Marsden NHS Foundation Trust, the hospital where she got cancer treatment. The bright yellow daffodils were sent as a thank you and a sign of support for patients and staff. That made her Commonwealth Day bouquet even more special because people saw not only a woman getting flowers, but also a woman who was known for giving them. The emotional depth of the whole story comes from the link between receiving and giving. Catherine's recent flowers to Royal Marsden were seen as a thoughtful personal thank you, and the note she sent was said to be heartfelt. Then, not long after that, the Commonwealth Day moment showed kids giving her flowers in return. The symbolism is hard to miss. A woman who had just seen a flower message was now getting flowers from the people she serves so much. The flowers also showed how people felt about her. The royal family may follow strict rules, but the picture of Catherine smiling as she accepts a bouquet from kids makes the monarchy seem less far away. It is kind of moment that gets good attention because it doesn't seem forced. The kid's gesture seems loving, Catherine's reaction seems real, and William's presence just behind her makes the scene feel more like a family gathering than a ceremony. Getty's captions and the order of the photos make that interaction very clear. These little interactions spread so far online for a reason. They show something that speeches and formal portraits don't always show. What a royal person does when the official part is over and the human part begins. Catherine has a long history of easily accepting flowers from kids and other well-wishers, and Commonwealth Day was just another example of that. The bouquet in her hands, the smile on her face, and the natural bend toward the children all combined into a moment that felt as much as about generosity as ceremony. The effect was only made stronger by the larger event. Both Reuters and People said that the royal family came together in large numbers for the 2026 Commonwealth Day service. This event got even more attention because it was the first time the family had been seen in public since Andrew's arrest, related headlines. Catherine's flower moment was like a palate cleanser in that situation. It broke the family's tension and replaced it, if only for a short time, with something simple and beautiful. That is how royal photos usually work best. A small gesture can change the whole mood. That might be the real reason why the picture of Catherine showered with flowers sticks in your mind. It is not only that she looked elegant. The scene was full of love. A child gives Catherine flowers and the bouquet catches the light. The Princess of Wales looks just like the future queen people think she will be. Calm, gracious, and very comfortable with public kindness. The royal setting didn't take away from the humanity of the exchange. It made it more clear. So the heart-melting moment is really a story about how things sound. Catherine got flowers at Westminster Abbey, which was a time when she had already been connected to a floral gesture of her own at Royal Marsden. She took the flowers with a smile, walked next to William, and made a formal goodbye feel personal and real. That is not something that happens very often in the stiff world of palace fashion and protocol. This is also why this moment hit the public so hard. And this is where the story becomes more than just fashion or flowers. It becomes something quietly powerful, because on one side you have Meghan choosing simplicity, control, and a modern kind of confidence that feels very intentional, and on the other you have Catherine standing in tradition yet softening it with moments that feel completely real. And that contrast, it's not a competition, it's a reflection of two very different paths. Slowly redefine what royal presence even means. In my opinion, that's why these moments resonate so deeply, not because of what they wear, but because of what they represent. Meghan's looks says freedom, evolution, a life built on personal choice. Catherine's moment says stability, continuity, and a quiet understanding of duty. But here's the question that stays with you. Which version of modern royalty connects more with people today? And even more interesting, can these two approaches ever truly exist side by side without tension? Because if you look ahead, this contrast isn't fading anytime soon. It's actually becoming clearer, sharper. We may see more comments like this, subtle, symbolic, where every outfit, every gesture carries meaning beyond the surface. And maybe, just maybe, the future of the monarchy won't be defined by one path, but by this very contrast. So now I'm wondering, Do you see this as a divide or as a balance the royal story actually needs? And when history looks back, which image will define this era more? The effortless style or the quiet grace? Stay with me, because sometimes the smallest details end up telling the biggest story.